Hey there, true believers. You're tuned into Baxter Building Radio via the Negative Zone feed. Welcome to episode 13 of the Fantastic Four Fancast. I'm your host, Nate Charles, and I'm joined by my co-host. His name is Shane Murray. Shane, how you doing tonight?
A little tired, but all right. How about yourself?
A little tired, a little tired. We had kind of a big weekend. Uh,
Yeah,
we're we're recording this on July 21st, but I believe this episode is going to actually drop on August 4th. So we are literally coming out of having worked Hershey Comic Con this weekend in various capacities. How was the show, Shane?
I don't know how was the show. I didn't get to see much of it. It seemed busy.
It was busy. I got to see some of it just because I went and handed out chocolate bars because it's Hershey Comic Con and that's what the promoter asked me to do. So, I mean, in that sense, I was able to see everything. But yeah, it was a good time. So we had Steranko there on Saturday. Al Milgrom was there.
hmm
Scott Hanna. Mike Lilly,
DeCarlo.
yeah, Mike DiCarlo, Mike Lilly, who actually did an awesome Doctor Strange piece for me in my Book of Ashanti sketchbook that doubles as a prop for my Doctor Strange cosplay. I'll have to show that to you, bud. Looks real cool. Adriano Di Benedetto was there as well. I drove him from the airport, and he surprised me in the middle of the show and gave me a Doctor Strange sketch card just to show his gratitude. Super nice guy. Both him and his girlfriend, or it might be his wife, but they were super nice people. Don Best of Sonic the Hedgehog fame was also there. Uh, some wrestlers, Snitsky, Ricardo Rodriguez, Ben Seaver from Growing Pains was there. I
Devon was there.
yeah, Devon Dudley. Uh, no, it wasn't a bad lineup. Pretty fun time. I spent most of my time working in the cosplay competition stuff, so dressed as Reed Richards. Go figure, right?
Yeah, I spent most of my time just doing all of the unnecessary things to make sure that the show went smoothly.
Unnecessary or
I
necessary?
said all of the necessary things to make sure the show went smoothly.
Okay. Well, yeah. These things don't just run themselves. They need to have a good stuff behind them. And we were short staffed this year, but we still made it work.
Yeah, it definitely felt short-staffed compared to last year. It felt like I thought last year was bad. It was even shorter this year.
Well, hopefully we got some solutions in place that'll fix that next year. But I don't think the attendees noticed, to be quite honest. And that's what matters. You know, as long as everybody who came through that door had a good time.
Yeah, I at least got told thank you like 6 times with people leaving the show yesterday. So that always feels pretty good when you're the guy just doing tickets and then they tell you thank you. Like all I did was take your money so you can go walk around a hotel.
Well, we made a little personal point of pride is that I was able to make some headway with my cosplay charity project, which I'll elaborate more on as it gets closer to being to fruition. But we got an In with Children's Miracle Network and Extra Life this weekend. So that gets our foot in the door, try and do the most good we can with that. I'm excited about that prospect. And busy show, but I think overall it was a very productive show as well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the how the whole thing turned out all the way around. So they'll get those numbers shortly, I think, like 2 weeks.
Yeah, we should know by next week, honestly.
That for me it's 2 weeks because it's just like another work week. So
Yeah. Anyway, so like I said earlier, we're recording this episode on July 21st. This is a big week for the Fantastic Four, Shane.
it is a big week for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah. What do we got dropping on Friday the 25th?
Fantastic Four. What are they calling it? First steps?
Yes, yeah, Fantastic Four First Steps. Pretty
I've
excited
li
for this.
I've literally been trying to not eat or consume anything going into this. I'm trying to go in as blind as possible.
No, I thought you were trying not to eat or consume anything ahead of this because you were trying to justify eating all the popcorn in the custom bucket that you were going to buy.
I'm probably gonna buy a custom bucket. I got the Superman one. It's a paper box. and you
Yeah,
can
they
flip
serve
it.
popcorn in a paper box or bag, you know.
No, no, no. It's like a paper box where you put the 25 cents in and you get to take a paper out of it.
Do you have to put a
Well,
quarter in it every time you want a piece of popcorn?
no, but it does have a slot that you could probably do that if you really wanted to. But you can change the headline. It flips. There's a Superman one, and you can flip it to crypto also.
That is ingenious. I know I was sitting here cracking lame jokes about it, but that's really
It's
awesome.
the it is he's the goodest boy. But yeah, I had to have it. I didn't buy it initially, and I was sitting there and like I was filling up my water, my drink, and Freya went with me to see Superman, and I was like, "Hey, I need you to go buy me one of the popcorn buckets." And she's like, "Are you serious, Dad? Do you need another popcorn bucket?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care. Like, I'll get yelled at later by Mom. She's gonna just ignore this one because it's Superman." And when I got home with it, she's like, "I'm not even shocked it's Superman. I've expected Superman stuff to come through the door." I was like, "Oh, okay."
She gets you. Aaron's great.
She's like, Superman. She's like, if it was something else, I would have been mad. But Superman, she's like, you could walk through the door with like a pile of Superman stuff, and I would never be shocked. And I was like, oh, fair enough.
So, do you have your popcorn bucket picked out for this movie for Fantastic Four First Steps?
So it depends on where I go. I found out that I should have went to the Regal for Superman because like my Captain America cup that I use for the show, they had a suit cup that was the Superman suit,
Nice.
and I would have had a Cap's cup and a Superman cup.
Right. So I'm going to
Unfortunately,
return to my earlier question. I guess what theater are you going to go to get which popcorn bucket for Fantastic Four First Steps?
I don't know. I know I'm not buying the $80 Galactus head. That's all I know.
I might.
It's huge. I'm not buying the $80 Galactus head.
There's
That's
the
like
Galactus head. What else is there? There's the Fantastic Car, I think.
I don't I've only saw the $80 Galactus head. I am not looking at anything. I will look Thursday morning when I pick where I'm going to watch it Thursday.
So are you saying that I should get over these for the benefit of our listeners?
I mean, you could look it up for the benefit of our listeners.
Is it going to make you mad knowing about it? That's what I'm asking.
No, 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 no.
Okay. So Regal has the exclusive Fantastic Car popcorn container. AMC has the Galactus head. It's referred to as the Giant Galactus popcorn vessel. AMC also has the Herbie concession vessel, and they also have character popcorn tins, which looks like they have like almost like pop figures on them. And they also have character totem cups, which look like they have pop characters on the lids. But these are pretty awesome, honestly. The actual Fantastic Four uniform suit cup is for Mr. Fantastic, and then they have kind of a transparent version for Invisible Woman, a red one with a flame etching on it for Johnny, and a rock etching for Ben. So I'm not gonna lie, that's some pretty cool stuff there. There's also some other cups that I'm seeing, some various souvenir cups. There's a Mr. Fantastic popcorn bucket, which has a Mr. Fantastic figure that has its arm wrapped around the bucket. That's pretty cool. That might be Cinemark. I think that is Cinemark. So yeah, some cool stuff. Definitely look at the actual images. I'm not going to show those to you because I don't want to spoil anything for you, but those are the popcorn buckets at least. That Galactus head looks sick though. I think I might go for that one. It's either that or the Mr. Fantastic bucket. Depends on where I go in California. That's the thing though. Since I'm going out to California and going and I'm going to be seeing this, I have to worry about taking the thing on the plane home. I might just have to
Well,
send you money to get me a popcorn bucket and hold on to it until I get back, if you'd be willing to do that for me.
yeah, it depends on where I end up going. Like I said, I'll let you know. I'm probably gonna end up at AMC just because I might end up with that Mr. Fantastic bucket with its arm wrapped around it.
Did you just look them up?
Yeah.
I was trying so hard not to spoil it for you.
It's yeah,
And
it
now he
happens.
just looks so upset.
It's sadness.
Oh,
Though the Herbie concession
why?
vessel is so cute.
It is. It is very cute. That was definitely another one I was considering. I can't believe you just broke the seal on this thing, though. Like, that's out of my way to just try and describe these things to you so you wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, so distraught. I didn't know
I've
that AMC was doing the popcorn bucket for Superman. I figured they were going to have one, but I didn't know what they were. So when I got in there and they had that one, I was so stoked because it's so cool. And will it ever have popcorn in it? I don't know, but it's so cool, and that's mine.
the Galactus head has LED eyes.
Yeah, but doesn't have the goodest boy.
Well, the goodest boy isn't in this movie, Shane.
Maybe Herbie can be a goodest boy.
Maybe. But speaking of Fantastic Four first steps, so this episode that we are recording right now comes out August 4th, which means it has been almost 2 weeks by the time this episode airs that Fantastic Four First Steps has come out. Um, you might be wondering why we haven't covered it yet, and that's simply because uh, I'm actually leaving for a trip across country on the 25th, the day it releases. I'll be watching the movie the next day in a theater in Los Angeles. Um, Shane and I won't have the ability to record any episodes until I get back. So that also isn't necessarily a bad thing because that gives us a chance to do a full review of the film once we return and record our next episode. And yeah, we can not worry about spoilers so much. Obviously, we'll lead with spoiler warning, but it'll give people enough time to have seen the movie before we go ahead and just share our complete thoughts on it. Right, Shane?
Yeah, I got to see Superman again before I see this. I'm trying to figure out what day I'm doing that.
It was a very good film. We talked about it, I think, last week. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, be sure to tune in for episode 14. That's next episode for our review of Fantastic Four First Steps. And though Shane, I am very sad to have to, remind you that this movie does not have the goodest boy in it. Speaking of the goodest boys, shall we get started on today's comic?
yeah.
What are we going through today, Shane?
We're gonna be going through Fantastic Four #5 from Lee and Kirby. So the good boy stuff.
Yes, and the debut of the goodest boy, correct?
I would not say he's the goodest boy, but it is the debut. It is the debut of one of the most menacing of the menaces for the Fantastic Four.
Probably the most menacing of the menaces for the Fantastic Four.
I wasn't even sure if we were going to go with Doom as the most or Galactus as the most.
Yeah, Galactus is menacing. I mean, he's giant and he devours worlds.
And like eats planets.
Yeah, yeah, terrorizes the entire cosmos. And Victor Von Doom is just ballsy enough to go and take that power for himself.
Yeah. So,
I would give Galactus a close number two spot. We are ranking Fantastic Four villains. Someday we'll do that. We'll put up a poll in our Facebook group and we'll do like a top 10 Fantastic Four villains. However, maybe Galactus will come in number two on that list. Maybe it won't because we're going to leave it up to the listeners. Don't know when that's going to be. Like to get a little more traction in that group before we do it.
I would like to do it away from this movie that seems to have Galactus in it.
Yeah, that would probably be for the best. All right, so Fantastic Four, Volume 1, Number 5. Cover dated July 1962, but released on April 10th of 1962. 12 cents got you this book back then, Shane. Care to guess what it goes for today?
Ungraded?
You know what? Let's go for a near mint 9.8. Throw me a guess on that one.
9.8. First
Yeah.
appearance of Doom.
Yeah.
I don't know, like 60K.
This book has sold at rated a 9.8 near mint for $393,439.91. Now, I don't know what the Overstreet guide says about this. They may have overpaid, but that is how high it has sold for previously. It's like an all-time high. I want to say
Yeah,
that was April of 2022. Now I'll let you guess the ungraded price.
1200.
$2,217.60 is what that book
Well,
is sold for,
I
ungraded.
won by Price is Right rules. That's all that matters.
That is Bob Barker is clapping down from heaven
Oh, do you mean the
while telling you,
the robot shed? He's just in the robot shed.
yeah, he's in the robot shed spaying and neutering your pets. All right, so today's issue written by Stan Lee, penciled by Jack Kirby, inked by Joe Sinnott, colors was Stan Goldberg, letterer was Artie Simic, and the editor slash editor in chief, Stan Lee. Would you like me to give you a synopsis, Shane?
Do we have one?
We sure do. Via Marvel Unlimited, we have Doctor Doom in his very first appearance. The Fantastic Four's greatest nemesis is introduced in the first of many Titanic battles as Victor Von Doom is out to prove that all should bow before Doom. That's
It's not a bad one.
that's two sentences with three dooms in it.
Well, if you have four dooms, you've created chaos, so it's just anarchy right now.
It's fair. Go ahead and take us through the cover, Shane.
Yeah, have complaints about this cover,
You
and
have
it's
complaints. How about you take us through it first, and then we'll talk about your complaints.
sure. So you have three of the Fantastic Four in a white circle looking at Doom on some kind of monitor, and Sue in steel container. It looks like that's how they're showing her. She's invisible and her hands are tied together. Johnny's throwing fire at the Doom picture and it's bouncing back off of it because, Doom. And looks like the thing is suffocating.
The word balloons actually back you up on this. Doom is saying, with a turn of this dial, I shall destroy the four of you forever. And Reed, who's stretching towards the monitor, says, I've got to reach him. He's draining the air out of the room. I can't breathe. My my strength is ebbing. While Ben says, Air! I gotta have air. And Johnny is saying how my flame is dying without oxygen. I'm helpless. And Captive Sue is thinking, I must get in and save them. But how? How? And our title, of course, the world's greatest comic magazine, The Fantastic Four. And then we have another caption bubble. It looks like almost like an explosion. And within it says, Meet Doctor Doom. I'm going to allow you to continue through the cover, Shane, because I know I cut you off and I for sure wouldn't want to, keep you from airing your grievances.
So it always is the same thing, but this one is so wild. Like they shifted everything to the left. If everything would have just been shifted slightly right, the Comics Code Authority would have been over the sea. The Fantastic Four could have been there, and they wouldn't like the edge. They pushed everything to the edge. Stan should not have editing. They needed an editor for Stan.
Well, you realize that the Comics Code Authority is just a stamp, right? That could be stamped anywhere on the cover.
I mean, that's
Honestly,
great.
they're probably lucky that they didn't put it right over Doom's face.
Again, the 12 cents and the world's greatest heroes, it's all still pushed so far left. They could have centered it. Like we had rulers. It wasn't like they didn't have a ruler. He could have just been like, "Oh yeah, this is slightly off. Just need to move it slightly, slightly this way, just slightly."
All right,
Because
what else, Shane?
there's this whole space of empty space on the right, and it's just driving me bonkers.
Are you talking about Sue's cell wall?
No, just not yeah, not even that. Just that, like from the Comics Code Authority all the way down, that whole line, that whole stretch there is just an open gap where they have
Well,
everything pushed to the bind.
you have the MC logo right underneath the approved by the Comics Code Authority.
Yeah, and that's all. Again, then you have which would be like a quarter of an inch on a comic. That's all just blank space where they have all the word bubbles and everything pushed to where you would like to where the bend of the book is.
But if you
I
shift
just
these things right, Shane, you run the risk of hiding that metal ceiling of Sue's cell. I think maybe what they were trying to do was put uh was to really illustrate that Sue is captive in a different area from the rest of the team.
it wouldn't have been shifting it that much to hide. You wouldn't have hit it. You would have just shifted it just slightly. It's fine. It's just a minor complaint that I have that I've noticed with a lot of the Fantastic Four covers from Stan that they just needed to move one way or the other and it would have fixed all of the problems.
All right. You know,
But it's just me. It's just my
I'm not
complaints.
entirely certain that this part was Stan's job with the cover. That may have came down to, I believe it was Saul Brodsky who was the production manager. I
Or
could be wrong with that. It could have been Stan. You know, maybe somebody can
or
actually clarify that to me. If any listeners know out there, I would love to hear from you.
either way, I would have liked someone to be like, where was their Perry White? Perry wouldn't have let that go out like that. That wouldn't have been front page. Where's their J. Jonah Jameson? He would have been mad about this.
Well, J. Jonah Jameson's out there looking for pictures of Spider-Man.
Just saying.
Anything else you would like to point out about this cover, Shane?
No, I think it's a beautiful. I love the art on the cover, and I love the blue background. I'm always a sucker for like the solid blue, solid yellow background. I just don't like the top layout of these certain books.
All right. Well, then let's go ahead and dive inside. So we open up to the first page and we have the Fantastic Four in Prisoners of Doctor Doom. And what do we see here, Shane?
We see Doom playing with some figures, like little statuettes of the Fantastic Four on a chess, or it looks like more like a checkers board. And he has a pet condor for some reason, and a bunch of books about science and demons.
And sorcery. Don't forget the sorcery.
Well, there's no sword, so I didn't think there was any sorcery.
Well, the book says science and sorcery. Doom says, the Fantastic Four. Ah, little do they dream they are not but pawns in the hands of Doctor Doom. And Doom departs his sanctum, but now it is time to let the Fantastic Four feel my might. For of all the humans on Earth, only I have the power to defeat them. And where does he go here, Shane? And how does he do it? What do we
He
see in that last panel?
he's leaving in a helicopter. It's like a jet helicopter.
Nice purple color. Magenta, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
You turn the page. Miles away in the heart of New York, a towering skyscraper becomes empty as its occupants leave for home at the end of a typical workday. One by one, the building's lights flicker out, all except those at the tower which serves as the headquarters of the Fantastic Four. And within the tower, we find what, Shane?
We find the Fantastic Four. And they inside there we find Johnny reading the Hulk. We finally got an answer to who is the Hulk.
Apparently, he's some sort of pinkish colored thing.
Yep. So you get a nice little family moment here with Johnny reading a comic book and the thing and him having an argument about said comic book.
What are you reading, Johnny? A great new comic mag, Reed. Say, you know something? I'll be doggone if this monster doesn't remind me of the thing. Very funny. Give me that mag, Squirt. I'll teach you to compare me to a comic book monster. Hey! And what does Ben do?
Ben rips the comic book out of Johnny's hand for Johnny to then basically light the comic book on fire. It looks like, yeah, lights the book on fire in the thing's hand because they just can't get along.
If you want it so bad, I'll warm it up for you, big man. Oh, come back here. Come and get me. And what proceeds to happen?
Much to everyone's favorite thing, the thing obviously punches his way through the table that Johnny was sitting at reading the comic book because it was in his way. Private property means nothing to the thing.
You're darn right I'll get you, Torch. And when I do, stop him, Reed. Thing, knock it off. And what does Reed do here?
He tackles him with good form, actually, and then wraps him up.
This'll cool you off, kid brother. And what's to proceed to do?
Oh, Sue sprays him with that like a some kind of fire retardant.
Fire extinguisher? I believe the
I don't know because it has like a backpack to it, so it's like some super fire extinguisher.
Aw, Sue, I was just having a little fun. Fun? You two won't be satisfied till you've pulverized each other. What's the matter with the four of us? Whenever we're not fighting some menace to mankind, we end up fighting among ourselves. Skip the lecture, pal. I'm a big boy now. And what happened, Shane?
The lights go out.
Reed, what's happened? The lights all went out. Impossible. We have our own generator here. Must have been affected by some more powerful force. But what? For the answer, let us look up in the sky outside the tower. And what do we see, Shane?
We see that magenta helicopter Doom was in earlier, dropping off this wild canister that opens up and spreads to a netting that covers the entire Baxter building.
Soon I will have them trapped and completely at my mercy. Nothing can escape my little web, not even the Fantastic Four. Look, some sort of net dropped over the entire tower. Burn through it, hot shot. I'm trying to, thing, but it must be asbestos. Fantastic Four, heed my words. This is Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom? But what is he? That voice. I recognize it, but I thought he was dead. Years ago in my college days, there was a student named Victor Von Doom who was fascinated by sorcery and black magic. And what do we see, Shane?
We see him like at a weird altar praying, like it looks like praying to some kind of like I guess mystic god or whatever. It has like a gargoyle with a flame above its head.
I, Von Doom, have mastered the mystic rites. He was a brilliant science student, but he was only interested in forbidden experiments. And what do we see now, Shane?
It's a weird machine with his head inside of it.
This is mad, Von Doom. Why do you keep trying to contact the Netherworld? Silence! Just do as you are told. One night, the evil genius went too far, as he brought forth powers which even he could not control. What happened, Shane?
An explosion happens. I'm assuming from that very experiment that he was trying in the panel before.
What was that? It came from Von Doom's dormitory. And in the next panel, what do we see?
Doom with his head all wrapped up in bandages. like the Invisible Man, along with the like dean of students yelling at him. I'm not sure who the other guys that are behind there. Two members of the school board.
He managed to escape with his life, although his face was badly disfigured. And then, Von Doom, I'm expelling you from this school before you cause greater harm to yourself or to us. And so he left. When last heard of, he was prowling the wastelands of Tibet, still seeking forbidden secrets of black magic and sorcery. And we see Doom climbing into the snowy mountains of Tibet, where we transition back to Reed and the rest of the team. And now the sinister genius is hovering above us. This well could be the prelude to the most dangerous adventure of our career. You are my prisoners, all of you. If you wish me to spare your lives, do exactly as I command. First, send Susan Storm out to me. I shall hold her as a hostage to ensure that you do what I demand of you. Now, what is your answer? I'll give him his answer. First, I'll snap this puny net just the way I'll snap his ribs when I get a hold of him. And then, yow! Let go thing. It's electrically charged. Listen, Doom, or Goon, or whatever you call yourself. You ain't getting Sue in that corny looking plane of yours no matter what. If you want us, you come here and try to get us. Easy thing. Don't lose your temper. It's still his move. I I've got to go out to him. It's the only way to bring him out into the open. If he's as dangerous as you say, we can't just scare him off. We've got to fight him. You're right, Sue. There may be more than the four of us at stake, but I swear, he will not harm you. Not while we live. If you are sending her out, shoot up a flare, and I shall open a section of the net for her. And what happens, Shane?
They end up shooting up the flare, and she ends up having to climb up the netting to go talk to Doom.
Ah, the flare. Good. Good. Dr. Doom must have vast powers to try and challenge the Fantastic Four, and this is the only way to find out what those powers are. I am ready, Dr. Doom. I will be your hostage. But you shall live to regret defying the Fantastic Four. And we turn the page to find part two of our story, Back to the Past. And we see Reed and Johnny and Ben still covered by the net. He's taking Sue aboard his ship. Listen, he's speaking to us again. Now that the invisible girl is my hostage, I shall give you your orders. First, I want you all to board my plane, and you must swear you will not attack me. If you agree, fire a flare gun again. Give me that gun. We're going on his plane. We're not letting him get away from us. Reed, what if Dr. Doom tries to kill us when we board his plane? Easy, Johnny. He wants more than our death. This is part of some strange master plan, and we must see it through.
Do you think it's
Ah,
weird that when he shot that flare gun, he like did like one of those eye squints, like he was shooting a gun, like he was aiming a flare gun?
I mean, that is a good point in this last panel on page 6. It does look like he's literally just aiming the gun to try and shoot someone, but maybe he's just trying to make sure that he's going to miss Doom's copter.
Just thought it was a wild take on the flare gun.
Honestly, it was in contention for my favorite panel, quite frankly. And what do we see on Doom's ship, Shane?
Right, what we see on Doom Ship is we see Sue already bound and gagged.
Ah, they agree to board my ship as I planned they would. I knew Mr. Fantastic could not resist trying to learn what my mission is. One flip of a switch, and they will be mine. And what happens?
He drops one of those mouse traps from the 90s game Mousetrap on top of that.
It does look remarkably like that. Some sort of cage.
So it looks like the mousetrap from the 90s game Mousetrap. If you don't know, it's definitely worth the Google for this one. And it drops on top of him, and I guess it somehow has enough underneath the clothes because it has gates on the bottom of it, and he brings it up into the bottom of his shark copter. I love that he painted a shark face on the copter.
I honestly had not noticed that before. Oh my gosh. We have come so far with Doom. Holy smoke, Reed! This Doctor Doom character must be a real wizard at inventing things. I told you he is an evil genius. We must never underestimate him. So far, my plan is working without a hitch. Then, with a sudden unexpected surge of rocket power, the helicopter blazes through the sky at almost unbelievable speed. We will reach my castle stronghold within minutes. And now, my reluctant passengers, welcome to the home of Doctor Doom. It it's a regular fortress. And what do we see, Shane?
We see the like some of the towers of I'm assuming will be known eventually as Castle Doom.
Minutes later, and where did the scene switch to?
We're inside the throne room of said castle, and the three of the Fantastic Four members are on top of what looks like a area rug. Sue's still bound next to Doom, but she doesn't have the gag on anymore. I don't know why he had to put a gag on her in the first place. And a tiger next to Doom in his throne. The
Do you
original Tiger
know
King.
do you know what the tiger's name is?
Uh, Absolutely not.
So I forget what issue it's revealed in, but this tiger's name is Gunther.
Oh man, he's as miserable as the wrestler.
And Ben says, well, what are we waiting for? Let's rush him. We can't, Thing. We promise not to attack him till we hear him out. You are wise to restrain yourselves. Fast though you may be, my little pet here is faster. Now that we are all together, I have a mission for you to perform for me. If you carry it out successfully, you will all be rewarded. If not, I have a hostage. Talk fast, mister. What is the mission? I have successfully developed the incredible invention of the age, an actual time travel device. And I want you to go centuries into the past and obtain the legendary treasure of Blackbeard for me. He he means it. Why don't you go get that treasure yourself? I cannot. I must remain here to operate the machine. Well, shall we do it? Gosh, a chance to actually visit the past? Who could refuse? I could. What if he doesn't bring us back? I want that treasure. I shall bring you back. Despite his other faults, Doom is not a liar. He will keep his word. He'd better. Doom, if we don't return, swear you will set Sue free. Done. I only needed her to lure you here. And now I shall send you back, hundreds of years into the past. You will have 48 hours to bring me Blackbeard's treasure chest. Do not fail. Look, what's that button he's pressing?
Can I bring something up about the Doom hand here?
Yeah.
Go back to the first page where you see Doom's hand.
Huh. Coloring mistake.
They actually put it has actual hair on those hands. Those are actual his hands.
Is it supposed to be hair or is it just shadowing? Like to give
No, those are
texture to
like
what should be metal.
I am almost positive that is literally looks like it's a regular hand because it actually has like the proper thumb joints. So the one that metal one has like circles. So unless they redrew it, like they just inked it wrong.
I
That
don't
was a
necessarily feel like Doctor Doom has a very consistent design here in this initial appearance.
Yeah, that's all I was saying.
Yeah.
That was that was my minor little mine. It threw me out for like a while about that whole front page. I was like, why does he have hands? I mean, he obviously has hands, but why does he have like not metal hands?
It is odd. So once he presses this button, what happens, Shane?
Oh, they travel to the past. This is the time machine that we've seen in two shows ago. This is the time machine
Actually,
that
I
they
think it was
used.
last week's show, wasn't it? This would have been back in yeah,
Thing
episode
versus
oh no,
thing.
two episodes ago. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so this is the time machine that we actually see in episode 11
Yeah, Marvel 2 and
in
1.
Marvel 2 and 1 number 50. So, but for the benefit of our listeners who may not have heard that, can you describe how this machine works, Shane?
Yeah, so it's like a square panel, like I said, looked like an area rug, and what it does is it like arises up through you and teleports you back into time to a set time and location, apparently.
Reed says, "It's the time travel machine. We were standing on it all the time." Reed, Johnny, Thing, be careful. Please, be careful. And I'm going to take an aside here, Shane. One aspect of these early Fantastic Four comics that drives me up the wall is that they don't refer to Ben by his first name. They refer to him as Thing.
Hmm.
And it just, like, no wonder the guy was depressed and angry all the time. Sue continues, They're gone. Yes, gone to bring me the gems, which unknown to them will make Doctor Doom ruler of the earth. And where have Reed, Ben, and Johnny ended up?
It looks like they ended up in what we would call Tortuga back in around the age of the pirates.
Johnny's so shocked that he collapses into Reed's arms backwards. It worked! Look! Look where we are! We've got to move fast. We've only got 48 hours. And the group ducks behind cover and scope out their surroundings. Reed says, The first thing we need are some clothes. We're much too conspicuous in our costumes. And what scene do they happen upon?
They happen upon two guys arguing about a bunch of clothes that they stole.
I stole these clothes, ye swab. They're mine. Ye miserable sea dog. Ye swore to divide the booty with me. And what ends up happening to these two?
They end up getting scared as Ben does his Tarzan impersonation to get him to run away.
I say they're mine. Wanna make something out of it? Flee! 'Tis a demon. Perfect. A whole bundle of suits and boots. This is keen. I feel like Errol Flynn. And what does Johnny put on here?
Johnny has on a pirate outfit.
And meanwhile, what has Reed done to Ben?
He gave him a patch and put on a fake beard and gave him some hair.
Let me disguise you too, Thing. A fake beard, hat, and eye patch should do the trick. Take it easy, bub. I don't want to suffocate in this outfit. Almost finished. There. You look real natural. Say, this feels pretty good. And where did they go next?
They go to a tavern, like the start of all D&D campaigns.
Ahoy, matey. See if we can date one of these pretty barmaids. Knock it off, Thing. We've still got to find Blackbeard and figure out a way to get his treasure. And they find themselves being watched.
Hmm.
Me think those three strangers would like to join my crew, wench. Feed 'em some grog to put 'em to sleep. Be quick at it, lass. And what does the barmaid do?
She comes over with a pitcher and gives them all some spiked grog.
Refresh yourself, master. Say, the service here is pretty good. Moments later, gosh, I'm sleepy. How about you, thing? And read. It is done. Now carry them to our ship and set sail. When they awake, they'll be part of our pirate crew. And on our next page, we go to part 3 On the Trail of Blackbeard. And what do we see here, Shane?
We see Reed, Ben, and Johnny in a pile on the floor on the boat.
Hours later, the thing is first to awaken. Slowly, silently, he looks about him, only to find they are locked in the musty hold of a pirate ship.
You know what's sad about those three panels?
What's that?
They're not blue eye.
Yeah, I noticed. We're going to talk about that pretty soon, honestly. But yeah, we do get a close up of the thing's eyes as he kind of scans the room. While up on deck, what do we see, Shane?
We see like a pirate um gathering. They're like discussing what they're gonna do with the new prisoners that they brought on board.
Waken the prisoners. Put them to work. Move, you swabs. Since when do you give the orders here, Mr. Spliny? I'm as fit to command as any. And Spliny looks like he's about to draw his sword. I'll show ye who gives the orders, ye miserable lubber. When what happens?
He gets yanked through the deck, which is great.
Yeah! And what comes up through the deck?
The thing comes up through the deck.
All right, boys. Your little game is over now. Who dares? Yeah! And what happens?
The thing, as this guy goes to attack him with a axe, literally just basically trips him and throws him at the same time.
I dare. And the rest of the pirates attack the thing.
Yeah, they do. They all try to gang up on him. It's a pretty cool shot with him being in red and them all in yellow as as Reed and Johnny now have woken up and are coming out the hole that Ben made in the deck.
Bit off a little more than you can chew, huh? Come and get it, playmates. You know, Johnny, I feel sorry for those pirates. There's only a dozen of them against the thing. Yeah, he's got him outnumbered. Look out! What happens, Shane?
You get some of one of the riggers fall from up top. You get a nice solid bam as it hits the deck right in front of Reed and Johnny.
To which Reed
And
responds by stretching super tall and hitting one of the crew members in the crow's nest.
yep.
That wasn't very sociable, sailor. On the next page, we find Johnny confronted by another sword wielding crew member.
Yeah, this guy thinks he's going to attack Johnny, and Johnny is like, okie dokie. No fear.
Mutineers be ye. I'll give ye a taste of me blade. Want to bet? Flame on! What does Johnny do?
He catches that sword blade with one hand while he flames on his hand, melt the blade.
It is sorcery. Ye be enchanted. That's as good a name for it as any, mister. Back, stay back. It is death to defy the miraculous ones. Now that's more like it. Suddenly, what happens, Shane?
Oh, we get a boom as a cannonball just strikes off the side of the ship.
We are attacked. It's another pirate ship. Maybe it's Blackbeard. And Reed looks through a spyglass. She's loaded with treasure It could be Blackbeard. Thing, Torch, get ready for the fight of our lives. And what does Ben do?
Ben, he gives like all of the pirates a speech to get prepared to go into battle with the other pirate ship.
All right, you swabs. That means you too. We're all in this together. Get me? Aye, aye, mighty one. Johnny disrobes from his pirate clothes to reveal his uniform. Step aside, gents. I'll soften him up a bit first. The youth is mad. And he leaps over the side of the ship and he yells, Flame on! And we hit part 4 Battle. And what's happening in this half page splash, Shane?
Oh, we get Johnny on the other ship, like just flying around and causing utter mayhem as the other pirates, the other ship, like the pirates on the other ship are look just surprised and like shocked of what's going on.
I would call that terrified.
Yeah, that would be another word, yeah.
Avast! We are attacked by a flaming demon! What's Johnny do next?
So then Johnny, after he caused all of that chaos on the ship, decides to take his flaming hot body and plunge it directly into the ocean.
That was only a sample. Now I'll really turn on some steam. By hitting the water with my blazing body, I can set up a cloud of steam which will conceal our next move. And Reed now is the next to disrobe from his pirate clothes. Okay, Thing. The torch started his steaming smoke screen. That's our cue. Let's go. How do we get over there, big brain? Like this. And what does Reed do?
Stretches out across the try to go to grab a hold of the other ship.
And he grabs a hold of the masthead. And he says, Well, shake a leg, fella. I can't stay this way all day. And how does Ben respond?
Ben responds by, of course, breaking the ship that they're on currently, just ripping out a pole and going and then running across Reed to the other ship.
He can stay that way forever for all I care. Well, if we're going to have us a little swinging session, I'll grab something to swing with. You just stay there nice and comfy, Rubber Man, while we muss up the big bad pirates for you. Hurry up, Thing. My back feels like it's breaking. Yahoo! Go get 'em, boys! And what's happening on this ship?
They are attacking the other ship, and because of all of the shenanigans that Johnny did, and just the sheer, I'm sure, shock of Reed reaching across, they have the upper hand and are taking the ship quite quickly.
Follow the black bearded one. Attack! They fight like demons possessed. We have no chance. And brief minutes later, hooray for the mighty bearded one! Hooray for Blackbeard! Hail Blackbeard, scourge of the seven seas! And Ben is soaking in the adoration. As Reed and Johnny have recovered the case, they stumble upon this scene of celebration. Johnny says, Blackbeard? But they're talking about the Thing. Good Lord, I see it now. The Thing is Blackbeard. He came back to the past to find himself. Then this treasure we just found in the hold belongs to us now. Or actually, it belongs to Blackbeard, for the men have chosen him as their leader. Wow, look at this stuff. And what's in this chest, Shane?
All kinds of gems and jewels and other sparklies. They're just so bright and radiating in the light.
This is terrific. We come back to the past to find the treasure of Blackbeard, and it turns out to be ours. But what does Reed do?
Reed instantly dumps out the treasure because he thinks that that's going to be better for society than Doom getting the treasure.
Sorry, men, but it won't be ours. We'll divide it among the men. If Doctor Doom wanted it, there must be some dangerous power which it possesses, and we've got to see that he never gets it. Instead, we'll load this chest with worthless chains for Doctor Doom. For, now that we've fulfilled our promise to Doom, we can return to our own age. We kept our word. We're bringing him Blackbeard's treasure chest. For we never promised to bring the treasure itself. You two can go back if you wanna. As for me, I like it here. Reed, he actually enjoys being Blackbeard. But he can't remain here in the past. Why can't I stay? The future holds nothing for me. In the 20th century, I'm nothing but a monster, a freak. But here, I'm somebody. I'm a leader of men. I'm a captain. I'm the guy who started the legend of Blackbeard. The kids will read about me in school someday. I ain't giving this up. Never. And I'll make sure the two of you don't try to take me back. Tie him up. Tie him up, men. Fast. Don't be scared of the torch. He's still soaking wet. He can't flame on yet. And what do they do to Johnny?
So they instantly grab Johnny, two of them, and start. It looks like start to tie him up so that he can't flame on and get away from them.
And what
Like
of
if he,
Reed?
and then they take an actual sail and wrap it around Reed. It takes multiples of them to get it around him, though.
That's it. Wrap a sail around Mr. Fantastic. It won't do him any good to stretch if he's got no place to stretch out of. Now put him over the side in a lifeboat. By the time they get free, we'll have lost ourselves in the fog. They'll never find us again. Thing, don't do it. Don't cut yourself off from us. You mustn't. You'll regret it someday. Don't do it. Meanwhile, at that very moment, as though an echo to the torch's words, ahoy! All hands! Twister ahead! And what do we see here?
We see a tornado on the sea.
I believe that's called a hurricane, right?
Yeah, it should be, but it's so small that looks much more like a tornado at sea. But yeah,
I
we'll call it the start of a hurricane.
when we turn the page, what happens?
Of course, that hurricane slash tornado went right through the ship, and they all got shipwrecked.
And we see the sails being torn off Reed. The gale is freeing me. I can move again. Torch, where are you? Over here, Reed. We're being washed overboard. Reed, help! And we're just seeing bodies and debris get swept through the air. Seconds later, as suddenly as it appeared, the fury of the storm blows itself out to sea. And we just see the wreckage and cargo of the ship floating in the ocean. While Johnny screams, Reed! Thing! Help! And Reed manages to spot Johnny's head bobbing above water and reaches a long elastic arm to grab him. Easy, lad. I see you. Hang on. Can't stay afloat much longer. And Reed manages to pull the two of them ashore. Gosh, Reed, I was almost done for. You're all right now, Torch, but we've got to find the thing. It's almost time for Doctor Doom to bring us back. There he is, washed ashore. His disguise must have been blown off by the storm. Don't say it, Rubber Man. I know. I was a fool. Must have got carried away by being accepted as a normal man, even if it was only by a band of cutthroat pirates. I I just lost my dumb head for a while. Meanwhile, what does Johnny stumble upon?
He stumbles upon the treasure chest.
We're in luck, Reed. Here's the pirate chest. It was washed ashore also. But now, how is Doctor Doom going to get us back to the present? At that instant, across the gulf of centuries, a hand activates an atomic power circuit and They have had enough time to obtain the gems of Blackbeard for me. If they failed, they will die. Part 5: The Vengeance of Doctor Doom. And what do we see on this three-panel page, Shane?
So, panel one, you see that square that looks like a area rug coming from the sky, and then the second panel, it starts to absorb them, and then by the third panel, they are back in front of Doctor Doom.
Look! Floating in the air above us! Stand still. Don't move. It's the circuit of Doctor Doom. We're about to be returned to the present. Ah, my three emissaries. You have returned as I knew you would. We promised to bring you Blackbeard's treasure chest, Doom. Well, here it is. Good, good. The gems in that chest will help me gain mastery of all the world. These little baubles are more than what they seem. They were originally the property of Merlin, the ancient magician. He gave them mystic power, the power to make their owner invincible. And now that power shall be mine. With these gems in my possession, no force on earth can ever defeat me. And what does Doom do?
Doom goes right to the treasure chest and goes to pop it open.
Reed, those gems were scattered to the bottom of the sea during the storm. What if the submariner should ever find them? And we got an editor's note related to the submariner. What is that?
It says Submariner, see Fantastic Four, issue number 4, May.
Yep. And we covered that issue in episode 8 of our podcast. Highly recommend it. It's the Silver Age debut of Namor. Reed responds to Johnny's concerns with, "We'll just have to pray that he never does, Torch." And Doom gets that treasure chest open and finds
He finds nothing but chains.
what? Chains! Worthless chains! I've been tricked. You're gonna be more than that, brother. Let's get him, guys. And what does Ben do?
Ben tries to sneak up behind him to hit him, or clobber him, rather, but he gets put off by Doom. Doom turns around and looks like he takes a pot shot with a little pistol.
Fool, you think you can defeat Dr. Doom so easily? Yeah, just watch me. And what happens?
Then the thing clobbers Doom, just breaks him into a million little pieces.
Hey, it's nothing but a robot. And then we get the panel that is evoked on the cover.
Yeah, Doom comes out of the ceiling in his little ball crystal vision thing, and the three of them are staring at him.
Naturally, I am in a hidden room above you, a room from which I shall now press a button draining your chamber of all oxygen. Farewell, Fantastic Four. And our scene switches to Doom's control room. What do we see?
Yeah, so we see the Fantastic Three, not four, seeing that he has Sue next to him, and the one little monitor there as he's running all of his little buttons and stuff so he can hit the right stuff to pull the oxygen from the chamber.
Too bad you cannot flame on. But without oxygen, fire will not burn. None can betray Doctor Doom. And Sue thinks, he's forgotten about me. There's still one chance. By becoming invisible, I can edge up to his control panel. Now, if I can just activate his cutoff switch to short circuit the mechanism. I did it! And what happens?
It blows up in Doom's face as he goes flying back.
And she takes off running down the corridors of Castle Doom. It's opened the escape door. Now, if I can just reach the others in time. But what predicament do the others find themselves in at the moment, Shane?
Well, the room is getting drained of oxygen, so they're having a hard time breathing.
Air. Got to have air. Hang on. Save your breath. Hang on. Maybe I can break up the floor. Maybe there's air Underneath and just outside the airtight chamber, what do we see, Shane?
We see Sue hit the button to open a door.
If only I'm not too late. And what happens when she hits the button, Shane?
When she hits the button, the door starts to raise, and she also goes visible because she's invisible in the panel before.
Air! At last! We're saved! Thing, Torch, look! It's Sue! I prayed I'd find that hidden door release button in time. Thank heaven you're unharmed, Sue. But what do we do now? Well, what's the first thing Reed does, Shane?
The first thing Reed does is untie Sue.
Do? I'm gonna take this joint apart till I get my hands on that Doom creep. No, hold it. He's probably got every inch of this castle booby trapped. You're right, Reed. He must have recovered by now, and he'll be more dangerous than ever. But we've got to do something. We will, but we'll do it my way. Watch. And what does Reed do?
Reed extends himself out of the middle, between the middle of the bars and the chamber they're at, and grabs hold of a rock that is over the moat.
All I need
And
is something strong to hold on to, and then what happens?
yeah, tells the thing to push, and the thing just pushes it while Reed has tangled himself into the bars to give him enough. As long as he's pulling that way and the thing pushes, it's enough to rip the wall apart so they can get exit the building.
Push thing. Push. With pleasure, bub. We're free, but we still gotta cross this moat so we can fight him on our terms and not his. And what's this moat filled with, Shane?
It's filled with crocodiles.
Johnny flames on. Here's something I've been wanting to try for months. By giving my flame the intensity of atomic heat, I can actually boil a section of water away and fuse the ground, turning it into a glass-like substance. Now, I will admittedly say I have not researched this. Does this seem somewhat like dubious science here?
Oh, absolutely.
Like I read this and I was like, I don't feel like that's how that works.
Plus, it was the ground, and the ground would have been under like this whole thing is just weird. It would have made more sense with Iceman just making like an ice bridge. Like this whole thing's weird.
And if anyone listening, has the information that proves this wrong, please feel free to let us know. But Ben and Sue come walking across this glass bridge created by the torch. He did it! The torch did it! That sure beats swimming through a mess of crocs any day. Now I'll just create a circle of flame around the castle and smoke Dr. Doom out. Bah! Let him use his flame. I hope he burns my fortress to the ground so that none will ever learn my many secrets. As for me, the greatest scientific brain of all time is not without his own emergency escape devices, such as my rocket-powered flying harness. Can you describe this harness to me, Shane?
Yeah, it looks like that weird harness from the first one. From the was it the first
I think it was issue
issue?
2 with the scrolls.
Oh yeah, issue two of the scrolls. Yeah. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's like the same harness. It's like they were just readily available jetpacks that everyone had.
And if you're interested in that adventure, feel free to go check out episode 3, where we covered Fantastic Four Volume 1, Number 2, Fantastic Four Meet the Skrulls from Outer Space. And Doom takes off in his jetpack. I have been cheated out of the magic gems of Merlin, but I shall still escape to find a new hidden site where I can plan for my conquest of Earth. Torch, look! I've got to go after him! Mankind will never be safe if Doctor Doom escapes. Even your miraculous flame cannot match the thrust of my rocket's torch. He's right. I'm growing weak. And what happens?
He flames. He has runs out of juice. Essentially, he just flames off and starts smoking and falling back to Earth.
Gotta keep enough flame to break my fall. Got to. And what does the torch do here in the next panel?
So, as he finds he apparently kept enough flame just to keep him flowing, and he ends up catching a tree limb instead of hitting the ground.
And the rest of the four run up. Torch, that was a great try. Bah, they don't pay off for also rans. Gosh, first the Mariner, now Dr. Doom loose on Earth. What happens next? We'll devote our lives to tracking them down. We can do no more. And the next time, I'll handle things my way. Surprise follows surprise in the next fabulous issue of The Fantastic Four. The end. So before we get into some thoughts on this, we do have a letter of interest on the Fantastic Four fan page of this issue, Shane.
Yeah, you were saying because you had it in the omnibus.
It's actually the first letter on that page and says, "Dear editor, FF number 3 was excellent. The feud angle made it all the better though, particularly the ending. The continuity in FF is all that could possibly be asked. I've just subscribed to FF for 2 years. I hope it runs much, much longer than that." From Roy Thomas in Sullivan, Missouri. Who's Roy Thomas, Shane?
I love this game. This is my least favorite game. Just tell them who Roy Thomas is.
Roy Thomas is a longtime comic book writer who shortly after this would start at Marvel Comics as basically Stan Lee's right-hand man. He also became a longtime writer on Fantastic Four. So he starts with issue 119, then he does a run that's 126 to 133, takes a break, comes back at 136, and then he did 157 to 179, 181, 303, annual number 11, and annual 22. So he's got quite the body of Fantastic Four work.
And Fantastic Four Unlimited 1 through 7 and 9 through 12.
Yeah, good good shout out. So you know who Roy Thomas is. Why did I have to answer that question?
That's not fair. Because I know who Roy Thomas is, but I then went and pulled it up so I could have all of the information in front of me. Um,
Yeah, it's called being prepared.
I didn't know I was talking about Roy Thomas today, bud. Remember? Didn't have that. Thanks.
It's no excuse. Get good, son.
Oh, dude, he did a Marvel 2-in-1 also.
Doesn't surprise me. He did number 20 and the first annual.
He played with a lot of FF.
He's had access to all the toys at some point or another. So anyway, Rascally Roy wrote in and they were good enough to answer him with one sentence. Stan wrote back, "So do we, Roy. So do we." So everybody hoped that Fantastic Four would run for such a long time. And aside from, 2015 to 2019, I think that's pretty much been the case. Consistent publication. So, Shane, what do you think of this issue?
It was all right. I don't know. It was a weird way to introduce Doom by having it be like a time travel piece.
I don't think they knew what Doom was going to become when they wrote this issue.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. I understand. It's just like, so I like to give these in my head. No, I never tell you that. Like a grading scale off of out of four, because there's four members of the Fantastic Four,
Mm-hmm.
and this is like a two.
Oh, seems low, but what keeps it from scoring higher, Shane?
The pirate stuff's like I don't know. I didn't like I just didn't like this story. It just didn't resonate with me.
See, I think the pirate
We
stuff gives it some charm. I think that's what makes it a fun romp, you know?
Oh, this is a fun romp, but like we've been going like they did the origin, and then there was so much going on with the Submariner. Like the Submariner issue to me is like super solid, and this one's just like bah, to leave it in the words of Ben.
Or Doom. I love when we
Yeah.
get past the era where everyone just goes, bah, that
What about Bub? I love Bub.
Yeah, I think he might be the first one to use Bub, honestly. He beat Wolverine by, at least a decade.
Yep, that's fine, bub.
So you want to move on into our four things?
Yeah.
All right, well, I think I went first last time, so let's have you go first this time. What's your favorite panel, Shane?
Page 20, panel 7.
Ben smashing the Doombot?
Absolutely.
Sure, what sticks out to
Claw.
you about that?
I just loved seeing Ben smashing anything, really. And I love that it was like the start of a long ongoing joke of the fact that every time they think they're hitting Doom, it's a Doom bot.
Very true. No, it's a great panel. It's a nice action shot of the thing. And the robot coming apart into at least, six or seven pieces really adds to the effect of it.
Yeah, and like especially with how much stuff we've covered recently, like we just saw in 1, 2, 3, 4, he talked to the head of a Doom bot when they thought the Doom bot was all beat up. So like I don't know. Uh Anytime Doom bots blow up, that kind of makes me happy inside.
And that was back in episode 5, where we covered Fantastic Four 1, 2, 3, 4, and number 1, if anybody wants to check that out.
So what is yours, buddy?
So mine would be page 12, panel 3.
Panel 3 where the guy's getting ripped through the decking?
Yes.
Okay.
Just the big orange thing hands coming up through the wooden deck boards. And what I really like about this panel is just the sheer look of surprise and terror on this pirate's face as he gets drugged down through the deck. The word balloon just makes it. His sword goes flying through the air. I love everything about this panel.
Yeah, this is a really nice panel. I did like there were several panels that came up for me, and this was probably like the third one on the list.
There's some comedy to be had here, and I just highly appreciate it.
I would say we've been doing a good job of just not getting the same panel, so I'm proud of us.
Yeah, there for a while it was touch and go.
So our next one's aged poorly. So what do you got for that one, buddy?
So for the This Age Poorly, we're going to back up a page to page 11, panels 2 through 4, because he'd come to be known as the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, and yet for some reason here, his eyes are brown.
It's fair. I even brought that up while we were going through. I
Yep, you
100%
certainly
agree with
did.
you.
But yeah, just I looked at that and I was like, that can't be right. But no, here we are. Brown eyes. It's on Marvel Unlimited. It's in my omnibus. It's in your trade. So it's not just it's a coloring mistake that they haven't rectified, which kind of blows my mind, honestly. What did you have for This Age Poorly, Shane?
I had the Errol Flynn reference because we are getting to the point where no one knows who that guy is.
It's been about 100 years, right?
Yes, it has.
Errol Flynn was Robin Hood, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was the that's the good Robin Hood.
He was very much the swashbuckling actor of the time.
It was I remember the first time I showed Erin that Errol Flynn Robin Hood, and then because she's a big fan of the Disney one, and
Hmm.
she's like, "This is where they stole all that stuff from." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, they stole it from this movie." Correct.
So, what did you have for your page turner moment?
That was really hard for me, but I did finally settle on one. So mine is page 17, panel 6.
Oh, go figure. Because page 17, panel 6 is also my page turner moment that I selected.
Oh.
Twinsies.
Yeah. Did you
So
have a backup?
I didn't know.
Oh, okay. I have a backup if you want to have that one.
No, no. I mean, I feel like it really just speaks to how much of a cliffhanger moment we have on that page if we both voted for it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, what was your reasoning?
The cliffhanger moment. Like I was like, oh yeah, let's see what happens to that pirate ship because this is not going to go well.
I mean, I think that the build to this panel is amazing because, Ben has had his own friends taken captive, so they can't drag him back to the future. They just finished this huge battle. There's been this betrayal. And now, on top of that, we get this hurricane that is just bearing down on the ship. Like, how is this even going to possibly work out? It's just things have gone from bad to worse. So, and I mean, the next page doesn't disappoint. You just get so much destruction.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if they were going to do that or if they were going to do the like Johnny trying to reverse go around to like counterbalance the tornado.
I'm glad it went this way, though. Remember, Johnny was also subdued at this point. So,
Yeah, yeah. I'm aware. I'm glad it went that way also. So MVP, buddy.
MVP for the issue.
Yeah.
It's I landed on a surprising choice considering that they're barely in it. Sue Storm.
Oh, buddy. We're
Uh,
twinsies again.
hey man, like for real though. I mean, I she almost got my This Age Poorly. This Age Poorly almost ended up being the whole damsel in distress trope where immediately Doom asked for her to be hostage and whatnot. But what makes this work is that, despite the fact that she's a victim of that trope, she flips the script and she causes that explosion that distracts Doom and it allows her to, one, escape him, but also free the rest of the team and cue up, Doom's ultimate defeat at the end of the issue. So without Sue, that victory doesn't come.
So funny because we were talking about doing what were they thinking, and my what were they thinking was the whole Sue plot of them just sending Sue out to Doom, but like, yeah, we'll just let Sue go out there and figure it out. It's fine, and we'll just go in the back pass without Sue. It's fine. Like, no, she's the reason you guys don't die sometimes, literally, as seen in this issue. Like, you need that person that's like she's like motherly enough to make sure they don't hurt each other, but like strong enough to help out.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
really, and we haven't gotten to the point in the series where like her full power set has been explored. But I mean, even with what she has now, I would still say she's probably the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four.
with what she can do right now, yeah,
Hmm.
probably.
Yeah. Well, Shane, would you believe that this seminal story that introduces one of the, if not the best supervillain in comics, or at least what would become perhaps the best supervillain in comics, has been reprinted a bunch of times?
Yeah, I'm assuming at least like 50.
So some of the ones I found were confusing. I'm not sure if they were spread over multiple issues or they were just issues that had the same reprint in them several issues in a row. I kind of eliminated those, but as far as where people can find this story, um, the first reprint of it was actually in Fantastic Four Annual Volume 1, Number 2 in September 1964. So like maybe 2 years after this book at most, they reprinted this whole story. And then later on in October 1976, there was the Bring on the Bad Guys collection. Uh, that also had a revised edition drop in 1998, which included this story. There was also the pocketbook series Fantastic Four Volume 1, released in 1977. They were little novel sized books. Also included this story. November of 1987, we got Marvel Masterworks Fantastic Four Volume 1. And in 1991, another collection, which was the very best of Marvel Comics, which had a number of seminal Marvel stories in it. And then there was the first, I don't necessarily want to call it a facsimile edition, because it was the Marvel Milestone edition. You remember the reprints that had like the silver borders around the covers?
I do.
Yeah, so that one, there was one done for Fantastic Four Volume 1, number 5, that came out in November of 1992. Of course, you then also have the Essential Fantastic Four Volume 1 from November of 1998, which was the uh, reprints of the early Fantastic Four on black and white newsprint. There's Fantastic Four Omnibus Volume 1 from January 2005, which is where I read our story today. There was the reprint series Fantastic Four Adventures, Volume 1, Number 5, surprisingly enough. Matches right up with this issue in November of 2005. I believe there was also an Adam Warren reprint story and a Mark Waid reprint story in that one. There's the book you read today, The Volume 1 Epic Collection, World's Greatest Comic Magazine from September of 2014.
Yeah, I'm a big Epic Collection guy.
If you want it on the cheap, now it might not be this anymore because you know how back issue bins work and things increase or decrease in value. But for $1 back in September of 2018, you could get the True Believers reprint of this, which was Fantastic Four versus Doctor Doom #1. In July 2021, there was the new edition of the Masterworks, the Mighty Marvel Masterworks Fantastic Four Volume 1 World's Greatest Heroes. It also shows up in the Doctor Doom, the Book of Doom Omnibus Volume 1 from August of 2022. And of course, they've been doing facsimile editions of all the early Fantastic Four issues. The Volume 1, #5 facsimile edition was released in stores May 14th of this year, 2025. And there's a new Epic collection that's about to be released in November of this year. It's Doctor Doom Volume 1, subtitle yet unknown. You can also find it on Marvel Unlimited. I would say root around in your back issue bins, but honestly, if you're going to see this book anywhere, the original copy, you're probably looking on a key wall somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
You know, if you want to spend your three
You're the
hundred ninety thousand four
Jesus
hundred thirty nine and
Christ.
91 cents.
Or what would you say $2,200 for an
The ungraded
ungraded?
one. Oh yeah, $2,217.60. Again, these aren't overstreet prices. This is just what it sold for, like on eBay. Shane, would you believe that this story has been adapted into other media a couple times?
Yeah, I would.
So the first real
So,
one was the 1975 radio show that was in episode 4, Fantastic Four Meet Doctor Doom. There was also the new Fantastic Four animated series in 1978 in episode 8, which was also called the Fantastic Four Meet Doctor Doom. But the one where they really dive into it just in depthly is in the 1994 Fantastic Four animated series. It's a three-part episode, episodes 8, 9, and 10 of season 1, The Mask of Doom. And I think, if I remember correctly, Doom has a different voice actor in every one of those episodes.
I think you're dead on right about that, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, not gonna lie. One of these days we'll have to knuckle down and review some of these series. Maybe
I
not
mean,
do an episode by episode review, but maybe just do the series as a whole, you know?
whatever. I have definitely watched the 94 series once.
Right, but there's like, 4 other ones we can talk about too. The
Yeah.
movies, the radio show.
Yeah. The weird radio show.
Hey man, Bill Murray's in that radio show. Don't hate on it too hard. All right, Shane, you want to remind the folks what's coming up next week?
Next week? I don't know what's coming up next week.
We literally just talked about it at the beginning of this episode.
Oh yeah, it'll be our rundown through the Fantastic Four first steps.
Yep. Review of Fantastic Four First Steps. Hopefully by then everyone's had a chance to see it. We can talk about all the spoilers we want to talk about. I'm
Yeah.
excited for it, quite frankly. I hope it's just as good, if not better than Superman. I'll be happy if it's just as good.
I highly doubt that it's going to be just as good as Superman. I'm looking forward to it being like half as good as Superman. If it's as good as Superman, that's awesome. I have a feeling that I don't trust Marvel with what they've released recently. So like I have no faith.
Well, I guess we'll know in a
I've
week.
I have no they have removed all of their good faith that I've had in them.
They've spent all the goodwill they built up with you.
Yeah. They need to release something like this has to be good or like I'm because I skipped Thunderbolts because of Captain America and I still haven't even started Ironheart. I've tried like 4 times and it's just
I
like
haven't watched
boring.
Ironheart yet either, but then again, I'm not gonna lie. The character just doesn't interest me. It comes out of like that character comes from a period of Iron Man that doesn't interest me at all. So I just never really felt the connection there. And I didn't connect with the character when I watched Black Panther Wakanda Forever either. So I don't know. It's just, you know. Some of the stuff I
Just
just accept isn't made for me, and that's fine. It's made for somebody who hopefully appreciates it, you know. Hopefully it hits its mark with some sort of target audience, but I'm just not the target audience on that one, and that's fine.
yeah. I haven't been the target audience, I think, for like at least 5 years for a Marvel movie.
Sounds like since Endgame.
I hated Endgame, so definitely not Endgame.
Well, if this was an Avengers show, I'd have you dive deeper, but I'm gonna leave that one lie. Any final thoughts on Fantastic Four Volume One, Number Five, Shane?
No, I think we touched on everything. I touched on my complaints. I had some.
To say nothing of the positive stuff.
I did say positive stuff about it. I just this this was this was a rough one for me. And I usually have so much fun going into Lee and Kirby stuff, and this one was just didn't tickle my fancy, as they could say.
Fair enough. Thank you, as always, for joining us this week on the Fantastic Four Fancast. As a reminder, your feedback is very important to us. We would highly appreciate it if you left us a 5-star review on Apple or a comment or a review on Spotify. You can subscribe to us on your preferred listening platform so that we show up in your feed every single week. We are on Facebook at the Fantastic Four Fancast, where we encourage you to engage in FF related discussions and share your Fantastic Four related content. Our big rule, I mean, there are a couple, but the one that we really want you to follow the most is that you are respectful towards your fellow Fantastic Four fans. You know, the idea is for us to all be one big happy family. You can also follow us on Instagram at Fan4Fancast. That is FAN, the number four, FANCAST. Or you could contact us by email at fan4fancast@gmail.com. Again, that is FAN, the number four, FANCAST@gmail.com. For Shane Murray, I'm Nate Charles, and until next week, we hope you all stay fantastic.